Hello everyone, welcome to Hue Spotlight. It is a brand new year, 2025, so what a better way to start than with some up-and-coming brand new talent. Well, maybe not so brand new. I mean, Vitalia has been working hard, and let's just say young artists these days, I think, work harder than those of yesteryear just because of what they're against with all of the social media and even the state of what the world is in right now. So I want to give a warm welcome to Vitalia. Thank you so much for joining us here on Hue Spotlight.
Thank you for having me here. Really appreciate it.
All right, first of all, though, your background in your own personal history with music is really kind of cool. And I think it speaks to, you know, cultural beliefs, right? And just the whole kind of embracing who you are in these days, right now.
I agree. I think that just whoever we are as artists can really be represented through the music that we make, through our personality is just really shown in a very vulnerable way sometimes. And I feel like a lot of people gravitate towards artists that really have a brand identity that is clear, that express themselves authentically. So I'm trying to be as authentic as possible. And I feel like even for myself, the people that I love listening to are always people that are just fully themselves.
Okay, people that you listen to, who do you look up to, music-wise?
So I would say like Paramore is a band that I listen to a lot. Willow Smith has amazing music. Dua Lipa. I've always listened to ABBA growing up. This Ukrainian rock band called Okean Elze. Kaytranada. If only I could name just like every artist that I've ever listened to, that would be the case. But there's definitely a couple of people that are up there for me.
Well, and how do you create, you mentioned your own brand, but how do you create your own sound, Vitalia, that, because there is just so much music out there for us to consume.
I think for myself, I really base myself on my intuition. So right now, intuitively, what felt right was for me to do kind of like this sad girl pop era for myself. Like I've always gravitated towards pop because I think it's something that is very accessible to everyone. And I feel like it's a type of music that I've also listened to a lot growing up. And for myself, it's been kind of like a journey of exploring, okay, well, this is something that I like. This is something else that I like. And this is another thing that I like. So I like a lot of different genres. And I'm sure a lot of people, like the more genres there are in these days, the more easy it is to get lost in them because there's so many subgenres these days that you can't even name a song and all their genres sometimes. But I found that for myself, it's about dividing them into different projects. So right now I'm in my sad girl pop era. During the summer, I'll be releasing a few songs that are going to be more funky, more housey, more Kaytranada vibes. But yeah, it just really depends on the phase that I'm in. And I'm just trying to kind of like separate them in a way that kind of makes it easier to brand, but also base myself on my intuition to where I'm at in my process. So right now what feels right is the sad girl pop.
Okay, so the EP is coming out later on. Molly, this song.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I have to say what's catchy is the music, but number two, the video. So I take it too that you're very creative and artistic, you know, sort of like a certain Taylor Swift does with her songs and making them seem even larger than life when she adds videos. What is the creative force behind Molly, and what was your vision for this song?
Yeah, so Molly, like fun fact, actually, just before I get into that, it's that I also studied to be an actress before studying to be a vocalist. So that also plays into like who I am as a person, and I am a performer, first and foremost, basically. So the creative vision behind Molly was very much based on a night out that I had in which I was kind of like, it's easy to get distracted in this world. There's so many things happening that sometimes drugs or alcohol can be an escape for a lot of people. And it's easy to kind of get into those things, but love is just as much of an escape, I think, sometimes. And it was kind of like, I just really wanted to draw a parallel between those things and kind of play around with that idea of like, well, there could be people in your life that are a bad influence and that you might still follow and want to do something that's super that brings up your adrenaline in your body, something that really just drives you to do things that sometimes you would consider stupid. And I really wanted to drive kind of this parallel between a person that you love and the highs and lows that you get from it, and the same highs and lows that you get from doing drugs or alcohol or anything like that. So kind of just like comparing those two.
Well,
That's where
and
it
the
came from.
process of making your EP now, songwriting, probably very, very integral to the whole music package that makes Vitalia who she is?
100%. So I kind of start my songs out, like, depends on the song, but sometimes I start my song, I tell myself, okay, let me sit down at the piano. I have these chords that I really just start playing. I put my phone on record and I just start improvising. Whatever comes out, whatever intuitively comes out, kind of like I have this creative process in which I edit afterwards, usually. So I listen to what I did during that kind of free flowing session, and then sometimes there's enough things to kind of work from that point. Um, but it always just depends. It's like it's a particular journey to write a song, but it's really just about expressing what I'm feeling. And once I'm at a certain process that I have a specific demo or I know what I'm kind of talking about, I present it to a producer and I say, hey, these are songs that I love. This is what I want to sound like, this bass line, this kind of sound, this, and it's just a great collaborative work once I get into the studio with a producer to really explore certain things.
I'm curious, how do you find, like you said, so-called the producer, and say if you need, other musicians to come on board, how is it finding and navigating through everybody in that whole community, finding those that are like-minded like you?
Mm. I feel like that's a common theme for me today, especially in this conversation. I've said intuition a lot, but that's definitely what it's been for me. So I started working with one producer. Sometimes it didn't really click and I didn't really know why. And as soon as I kind of like started doing some projects and putting music out there, well, the music community is so small too that it's like everybody kind of ends up knowing each other eventually. So I think that as I started releasing music in the first place, I eventually met other people that I clicked with more. But it's really just about experimenting and trying to work with someone first and foremost and doing what feels right. So there's no right or wrong answer. It's really what feels right for you or feels wrong for you. So with time, I kind of realized, okay, I feel like it's a little bit harder for me to communicate my thing, what I want to say with this producer, not because I didn't communicate it well per se, but maybe just because our musical influences aren't the same. So that's why we kind of don't match sometimes, or it just doesn't work. And then the more you do it, the more you get practice in it, the more you know how to communicate your ideas, and the more you find those like-minded people. So it's a process. It doesn't happen overnight, but once you do find those people, you know to stick with them and kind of keep working with them, because
And
sometimes the magic you create can become even more magical with time because you get to know each other.
and what a relief, right? When you can find those gems and know that
Oh
you
yeah.
can go forth. So I'm wondering, for you as an artist, I mean, you'll have your new EP out, and like you said, you're in your sad girl phase, and you kind of made allusions to being in a different space for the summer. Do musicians or like artists like yourself, do you have to constantly keep on changing, or are you trying to find that one lane that we're gonna know your song, say that's Vitalia, or any kind of new album, we know what you're going to bring?
Hmm. That's a good question. I think that I'm still asking myself that same question because right now, what feels right for me is exploring those different things.
Mm-hmm.
There might be a period of my life where, you know what, I've released so many songs at this point, maybe in 5 years or something, I don't know, maybe in 2 years, who knows? But down the line, there might be a point where I'm like, you know what, I kind of want to stick to one thing and kind of just explore this genre to its fullest extent. But I also might keep switching. Knowing myself and the type of personality that I have, I just love so many different things that although I do want to focus in on one specific thing and do it justice, I want to do it in a way that is adventurous enough for me, where I feel like I'm fulfilling myself and my needs. Because at the end of the day, even if no one's going to listen to my music, the music that I'm making is there for me. So it's there for me, yes. In a way, it's like I kind of like write these songs, they're kind of therapy for me. And once I put them out into the world, I know that I'll find the people that resonate with it. It doesn't mean that it's going to resonate with just anyone, but I'll find the people that it resonates with. And that's why I think that for a specific project, I think that my brand, who I am, what my personality is, it's kind of going to show through the different genres that I explore, the different facets of Vitalia that I explore. So I don't know the answer to that just yet, but I guess I'll find out as only time will tell.
And we can always just say, stay tuned, you know. We haven't seen all the facets yet of Vitalia. But in closing, I am going to let you, Vitalia, set up Molly, the story behind it, and everybody else. Thank you so much for taking time with us, Vitalia, and stay tuned. Don't go away. You're going to see Molly, Vitalia's newest video. Go ahead, Vitalia.
Thank you so much for being here, guys. Thank you for listening. This is my latest music video, Molly, about the love that you have for a woman, as a woman myself. And it's about queer love. It's about the comparison of love, drugs, alcohol, whatever you want, and kind of seeing how adrenaline can drive you to do things that you wouldn't do probably otherwise.
I'll never get over you. Yeah, Molly, I cried so many